What's up guys, I'm Gamermd83 and this is your Mass Effect 3 news. One of the most important things that I have to talk about that is probably on most Mass Effect fans' minds is the Mass Effect 3 demo. Where is it? BioWare had said that it was going to be coming out in January, but we haven't seen it. We're already in January 13th, so if it was going to be coming out sometime before the end of January, BioWare should have announced it already. But it seems like there's going to be no demo for Mass Effect 3 in January, unfortunately. The only thing that I've heard BioWare actually say about the demo is that they have prolonged it between January 15th through January 31st. I'm not quite sure what that means, but it's most likely that we'll be seeing a demo for Mass Effect 3 in February. I actually read an article that was kind of interesting. I'm not sure where they got this date, or whether this date is even true, or if it's just a rumor. But on the website Gaming Examiner, I'll put the link in the description so you could read it for yourself. It says that the Mass Effect 3 demo is going to be released on the 7th of February. Whether that's true or whether that's just a rumor, I don't know, but it seems pretty legit to me. I mean, for them to be placing a date on it, and it's a website that, you know, has gaming news. It's not like some cheesy website that Joe Schmo put out. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to find that out. Speaking of the Mass Effect 3 demo, just recently some pretty exciting news has been announced regarding Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, the demo. The game actually comes out in February, but the demo for Kingdom of Amalur by EA will be released on the 17th of this month, so just a few days away. And the cool thing about this demo is I'm looking forward to this game already, but the demo has unlockables for Mass Effect 3 for the game. And the unlockables sound pretty damn cool. One of the unlockables for Mass Effect 3, if you play the Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning demo, you will get the Reckoner Knight Armor for Shepard. This increases the damage done in close quarters, and it actually has a power cell that sends energy to your weapon system to increase the velocity of your projectiles. Also, the Chakram launcher, it uses lightweight explosive rounds. This item is received after you beat the demo for Reckoning and you watch the trailer at the end. There are more unlockables if you play the Kingdom of Amalur demo for Kingdom of Amalur the game, but I'm just talking about the Mass Effect 3 unlockables, so if you're interested in knowing what those other unlockables for the actual game is, check out the homepage for Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. They have it all on there. Now also for the Mass Effect 3 demo, whenever it's released, they also have unlockables for Kingdom of Amalur. So if you play the Mass Effect 3 demo, you will get unlockable items for the Kingdoms of Amalur, the actual game. You will get a N7 inspired armor. Now this armor is your classic knight armor in the medieval era. So could you imagine that type of armor inspired by N7 armor from Mass Effect, your Shepards, the colors and everything? It sounds awesome. This comes with helm, breastplate, gauntlets, greaves, everything. And you also get Omniblade daggers, which look amazing for this type of game because they are holographic Omniblades, inspired by the Shepard's Omni tool, but it's in this medieval era with your knight armor and your Omniblades. So let's leave the demo behind and move on to the next news. A few weeks ago, BioWare finally announced the complete composers list for Mass Effect 3. And it was amazing news because not only do we have Clint Mansell, the composer of Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, he did music for Smoking Aces 2, he did some music for Moon. I mean, this composer is amazing. But not only is he working on it, we've also got Christopher Lennertz, and he worked on Mass Effect as well. He worked on the downloadable content Overlord, and he also worked on the Shadow Broker. And if you remember the songs that played on Overlord and in Shadow Broker, these songs were amazing. These were some of my favorite Mass Effect 2 songs. They really, really got you engaged in the moment, especially in those battles that were in Overlord and in the Shadow Broker. Another composer is Chris Velasco. He also composed the God of War series, the score for those games, and he also worked on Kasumi, on the downloadable content for Mass Effect 2, Kasumi and Arrival. And I'm probably gonna butcher this person's name, Sasha Dikashian. I'm just gonna put it right here. This composer also worked on Arrival and Kasumi for Mass Effect 2. And of course, Sam Hulick. He's returning for Mass Effect 3. A lot of people were afraid and they were sad that Sam Hulick wasn't going to be part of the composing team for Mass Effect 3, but it seems like BioWare is just holding that back as a surprise because Sam Hulick is returning for Mass Effect 3, and that's absolutely awesome. He composed the music for Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and for Bringing Down the Sky from the Mass Effect 1 downloadable content. So Sam Hulick is the Mass Effect veteran, and it's so awesome that he's returning, and just being supported by such a composer's list is amazing, especially being backed by Clint Mansell. This guy is awesome. If you guys haven't heard any music by Clint Mansell, I'd recommend you go and check him out in YouTube. Just put Clint Mansell music, and I'm sure you guys will recognize the song that he is most known for from the movie Requiem for a Dream. This song is absolutely a classic song for movies. If you haven't heard it, check it out. I'm sure you guys have heard it somewhere, and you're gonna be like, "Oh wow, he wrote that song?" So moving right along, in this week, from the 10th through the 13th, today, there was an event going on in Las Vegas called the International CES 2012 event. A lot of different pieces of media get together to sell products. It's not just for entertainment or anything like that. They go into like audio, visual, that type of stuff. So they have vendors, and then they just sell their new products and stuff like that. But David Silverman in the latest BioWare Pulse said that BioWare was there, and they were most likely going to be revealing some new stuff or talking about some new stuff. He said, "Will we release a new trailer? I don't know." But he said, look forward to new information from this event in the following week, hopefully. I'm not sure what they talked about or what they released, if anything. Would be interesting to see. I mean, could we finally get the female Shepard trailer? I don't know. Hopefully. I mean, Mass Effect 3 is almost here. The other day, one of you sent me a link to an article for the Xbox 360 magazine, and it was about Mass Effect. And what this article talked about was pretty much how the Citadel was going to be huge. It was going to be much larger in Mass Effect 3, and they also talked a little bit about what to expect for the ending, and not by content, but I mean just by size and how different the ending for Mass Effect 3 is going to be from the endings of Mass Effect 1 and 2. Regarding the Citadel being larger, they said that the Citadel you were going to be able to explore the Citadel more than you have in the previous games, and more than Mass Effect 2. I mean, Mass Effect 2, the Citadel was really small. It was much smaller than in Mass Effect 1. But this time it's going to be a lot larger, and Mac Walters said in this little article, they have a quote by Mac Walters saying that on the Citadel in Mass Effect 3, you're actually going to revisit a mission from back in Mass Effect 1. This made me think. I was trying to remember one of those big missions on the Citadel in Mass Effect 1, and one of the ones that really jumped out that could fit for Mass Effect 3 was the mission with Chorbin, the Solarian that was scanning the Keepers. A lot of people have asked me whether I thought this was going to be returning, and I said that I did think this was going to be returning. So this little hint, or this little clue that Mac Walters is saying, maybe it could be this mission. I'm not sure, but this is one of the missions that jumped out for me immediately. Now, when it comes to the endings of Mass Effect 3, and I say endings because Mass Effect 3 does have multiple endings, that's one thing that they're saying, that the endings for Mass Effect 3 are more sophisticated and there's more variety. They're saying that it's more sophisticated because they have more time to invest in the actual story for Mass Effect 3 and not have to worry about how are we going to tie this to this part of the story for the next game, kind of like they did with Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 had endings, but they were endings that you just knew something was coming afterwards. They weren't your closure. It was more like a, not to the extent of a cliffhanger, but they left you wanting more. They left you like, what's going to happen? What's going to come after this? This is the closure. This is it. This is going to end Shepard's story. And it's, as exciting as that is, it almost feels kind of scary to me. It's just like, oh my god, it's all coming to an end. We're probably going to have to say goodbye to so many characters that we've grown to love so much in ways that we probably would never want to see them go, like dying and stuff like that. So this is going to be the ultimate ending for this great series. I mean, BioWare is going to continue Mass Effect, but this is it. For this storyline, for Shepard, that's it. And last but not least, issue 4 of the Invasion comic, starring Arya, the Elusive Man, and some new characters, will be released on January 18th. That's next Wednesday, I believe. It's the last comic of the series, so it should be pretty good. This comic directly ties to Mass Effect 3. So if you haven't read it, I'd recommend reading it. I've also gotten a lot of messages regarding the comic, people asking me if I'm reading it or if I'm going to go over it, and the answer is yes, I will be going over it. I haven't gone over the individual comics except for the first Invasion issue, but the rest of them I haven't gone over just because I decided that I wanted to make one big video where I talked about all of them together and my thoughts over the whole comic series. So I'm pretty excited. I will be going over Invasion most likely after the 4th issue is released, so maybe on the 19th or so, something like that. I'm not too sure. I might even make Mass Effect Talks that week dedicated to the Invasion comic because it might be a pretty big video, so I might just make it Mass Effect Talks. So this is pretty much all the Mass Effect 3 news that I have gathered in the past weeks. Since this is the first episode for Mass Effect 3 news, I did include a lot of stuff that has been announced, not recently, but weeks back, that I hadn't mentioned. So I might be doing this, the Mass Effect 3 news, every week, depends on how much news is released, and it's going to come before Mass Effect Talks. So it's going to be your little Mass Effect 3 news and then Mass Effect Talks. So stay tuned for Mass Effect Talks. I'm Gamermd83, and I should go.